Dog, this Wi-Fi shit's about to fucking piss me off. Okay, I fixed it. If it crashes again, no, I'm gonna put a bullet in my brain, but, you know. No, literally, it's fucking Lonk's Conqueror hockey. Okay, I'm not even gonna promote it on the fucking Discord anymore. I don't care. We should be fine. We should be good this time. If we're not, why don't you answer my questions? I don't see your questions. That's the thing. I never see your questions. Like, literally ever. Never, ever, ever. Anyway, why stream keep crashing? I don't know. Don't ask me. It's because of Lonk, I swear. He has it out for me personally. If you want to know what happened last stream, just go watch the last stream. Like, I keep them up for a reason. It might have also been YouTube because I did kind of say some pretty not good words last time. All-tailed beasts in Naruto versus Kaido. I know you have some fucking whack ass fucking some whack Naruto Luffy scaling kind of connotations and all that. So, you know, your answer is going to be way different than my answer, but I think personally, uh, oh yeah, I was talking about that. How is Merge Zamasu stronger than Beerus? Only one stronger than Merge Zamasu is Jiren, who's suppressed, and Beerus is suppressed. Okay, let me show you the scans, right? Because we were talking about this in the server, which, by the way, let me do that right now. Boop boop. You got kicked off the Discord. Maybe don't call people slurs, because that's like the only. That's like the only reason we ever kick people. But hold on, let me get the scans because we were talking about those earlier. These, no, not those ones. Up here. Okay. So these are all the scans that kind of have an implication for Zamasu being stronger than Beerus. This one is interesting. Whether or not you should trust it, unsure. But this is from, I believe, I had Wukong Glass, which is a guy in the Discord, verify it. Let's see if I can find his little. Okay, so the final one is from V-Jump, January 2017, where they rate the degree of danger that these characters have. Beerus is that many stars, and Merge Zamasu is that many stars. He is so strong that others cannot even approach him, so he has like some kind of spiritual pressure from Bleach kind of thing. This one is from the anime staff. They consider Merge Zamasu a cheat-type character who has unrivaled power to beat down his enemies. Whether or not, this obviously doesn't include like the Grand Priest and all that stuff. This one is from Toriyama himself, actually, and Toyotaro, where Toyotaro says Zamasu actually wasn't all that strong of a character in the original draft I received from Toriyama Sensei. Though immortal, his strength was such that 2 Super Saiyan Blues were more than enough, I presume, to take him on. It's precisely because of this that in the original draft things unfolded so that his immortality and Patora time limit became key. And Goku and Vegeta took turns fighting him. Goku and Vegeta didn't fuse in the original draft. Their personalities made any fusion after the Majin Buu arc impossible. However, I wanted to meet the reader's expectations, and so I made a scenario where even if they shouldn't really fuse, now they have absolutely no choice but to fuse. Should be noted that Whis in Resurrection F says that if Goku and Vegito were to work together, they could take on Beerus. And Vegito is kind of the physical manifestation of Goku and Vegeta's teamwork. Toriyama agrees. I think it was good. Here's something a little more interesting. This is the episode title of Yu Zamasu's introduction. The ultimate power of the absolute God. The term God there is tricky because some people will argue that Zeno is a god, but technically, Zeno has never really been referred to as a god before. He's always referred to as the Omni King. Even the title of like the Lord of Lords, right? I think that only let me look this up. Like the Lords, Dragon Ball. Yeah. If it's Zeno, I'm gonna the Lord of Lords, which is literally what like Yahweh is called, by the way, in Christianity. The Lord of Lords is the Grand Supreme Kai. Zeno is never really referred to as a god. It's always the Omni King or Zeno-sama. And I believe this is Vegeta talking. Impossible, God or not, I've never seen anyone let off energy like this. This includes when Vegeta met Beerus, and he literally collapsed from his spiritual pressure. Obviously not spiritual pressure like from Bleach, but like, you know. This is from an anime guide. The most evil versus the strongest. A great battle at the decisive moment for the world. Doesn't mean too much, but it does kind of imply Vegito above, you know, probably Beerus. Which is consistent with the manga, but you could go either way. This is the one that really got me interested, though. The mightiest god. His name is Merge Zamasu. Dragon Ball Super Episode 65. Final Judgment. The Supreme God's Ultimate Power. Which, that's just that episode title, but slightly translated slightly differently. According to Wukong Glass, which is my source for any time I need an obscure scan verified, the first one is from Shonen Jump, October 2016. So according to Shonen Jump, Merge Zamasu is above Beerus. Oh, shit. Okay. My bad. Hello there, Mr. IPAC. Massive W's all around, by the way. There we are. Let me refresh and see if I can get a better... Yeah, no, okay, here we are. I don't know if I should react to Lonk anymore, dog. Because low-key, like, I'm afraid it's gonna, like, tank my, based number 1. Tank my stream again. I'm pretty sure he has something like that. Like, it you know, coincidence and all that, but, you know. Never assume coincidence for something that can be explained through, malevolence or something. No. I think that's actually the opposite of how that goes, but whatever. Yes, because that's how streaming works. It takes time for my for the OBS software to transfer the stream to whatever little whatever they got over there. They got something. They got a machine that processes it and then streams it to your guys' devices. It doesn't make sense for Zamasu to be above Beerus unless it's Beerus during that arc, since Goku in his blue form overpowered him. You're thinking of when
it started
Zamasu was much weaker. Because even Toriyama kind of goes into this, or Toyotaro and Toriyama, and in the anime, they actually have a lot. The anime actually has multiple, many statements. The anime actually has several statements about how Zamasu's power keeps increasing. Let me get them. Let's see. Oh, shit, right. Someone asked me to do a thing. Uh, how have you been? I've been all right, aside from the streams crashing. Do you think Kratos is 5D when it comes to strength? Also, thoughts on Kratos versus Ashura. I don't know anything about Ashura scaling. All I know is that Kratos is overrated as fuck in the scaling community. Uh, I wanted Ashura to win just because I dislike Kratos that much. Even with literally no information on Ashura, I wanted Kratos to fucking bite the curb. But hold on, I can probably... Possible. Okay, so these are actually good scans that I'll harvest later. Oh, that's interesting. Vegeta saw Champa and Beerus fight in the anime. Two gods of destruction must never fight each other. You know that would mean the annihilation of Universe 6 and Universe 7. And Vegeta here says impossible, god or not. Let me get it. Yeah, right there. I've never seen anyone let off energy like this. Meaning, again, Zamasu is above... Maybe you could argue that Beerus and Champa at that point were suppressed. Maybe. Even then, I feel like that's kind of a... That might be a stretch. But, yeah, if I remember correctly... The anime does have statements of Zamasu's power growing. And this is actually consistent with what happens in the show. A weak god who cannot destroy evil is worthless. Fucking... Okay, I know that they exist. 1 second. Yeah, his power didn't just merge together. It expanded to no end. Again, heavily implying his power level is rising. The fight with Vegito goes from a utter stomp to, you know, Vegito actually has to, like, dodge his attacks and kind of react to him. They've surpassed anything we're capable of comprehending, even on our divine scale. Then obviously the GIF where they clash. Omnipotent Archangel Trial, if you want to be cheeky about it. But yeah. Tell me you haven't read anything besides watching Super. What are you talking about? Ichigo is trash? Why do you think Ichigo is trash? I love Ichigo. Okay. No, I'm scared to do it, honestly. I'm pretty sure Lonk has it out for me. You know, here it is from the... This is from the Resurrection F anime comics, which is basically just the movie copy-pasted. But if you two ever found a way to work together, Vegito, you would be able to go toe-to-toe with Mr. Beerus. This is from Whis himself. Beerus says, shut it, no one asked for your opinion. He does not deny these claims. Let me see if I can actually find some more... Let me see if I can find, like, the anime kind of stuff. Yeah, this is from the Resurrection F film directly. If only you teamed up, Vegito, you might even be able to hold your own against Beerus-sama. Exactly. So, in my opinion, it's actually like it's weirdly consistent. Honestly, in the anime continuity for views, and here's the thing: you don't have to. This doesn't change that much because you don't have to say anyone is stronger than Zamasu until you get to like MUI Goku, or at least like UI Sign like third release, right? Or like when Jiren kind of like takes Goku and Vegeta a little more seriously, then you can kind of argue that those characters are starting to approach the level of Zamasu. But here's the thing: Goku is actually stated in the Tournament of Power to surpass Beerus pretty directly. Beerus himself admits this. I'll try to see if I can find the direct translation. It's kind of weird, but Beerus has an inner monologue in some of the promotional material for the TOP referring to MUI Goku. And he's like, man, that guy surpassed me. And, Jiren is stronger than Merge Zamasu. MUI Goku is stronger than Jiren. There's not really that many contradictions when you actually look at the big picture. And that's one of the most important things in power scaling, in my opinion. Kind of understanding the big picture and trying to make all the information work and try to kind of like flow together. But that's just my opinion. He surpassed Beerus specifically during Omen 3. The translation's referring to MUI Goku, not Omen 3. I know UI Omen 3rd release is the pictured scan, but it's MUI Goku. And this is actually remarkably consistent with other things in the franchise. This is interesting. Okay, yeah, that doesn't say anything that we don't already know. But Goku actually has direct statements of him like transcending the gods of destruction when he achieves Mastered Ultra Instinct. Let's see, Ultra Instinct. Vegeta says transcend even the realm of the gods, which is weirdly consistent, but you don't really have to take that seriously. Okay, probably won't be able to find it low-key. I do have the transcending statements, though, in this one here. Here we are. That might not be it. We might need to go up or down a little bit. Yeah, we need to go up. Yeah, here it is. Okay. It is a power that transcends even the gods of destruction, in reference to MUI Goku. So it's actually remarkably consistent, in my opinion. Are we reacting? UI Sign, UI Omen, or Autonomous UI? I prefer UI Sign, although UI Omen might be cooler, name-wise. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Oh, that was the Nicolas Cage movie that came out. Okay. But yeah, this should... Okay, we're going to try and do it again. And I swear if it crashes... I'm hunting... No, I can't finish that sentence. Okay.
Krillin versus One Piece. We then did Yamcha versus Naruto, and today we complete the trilogy with Tien versus Bleach.
Should I call him Long Sama? No, that is not Solid Snake. Can Pan surpass angels when she grows up? I mean, you can make an argument. If you want to assume that the end of Z makes both Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball GT canon to the same continuity, End of Z Goku would be stronger than Whis, and that also includes all the other angels. Whis is probably up there in terms of the ranking. I have UI Omen as the Susanoo thing Goku used in the manga. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, why did Goku just obtain a random Susanoo out of nowhere? Here's another thing, by the way. Here's another thing. Beerus is not the strongest god of destruction in the anime. In the manga, he is, pretty objectively. In the anime, it's a little more ambiguous. Can movie Supersonic beat comic Invincible? Not yet. Oh, crap. My bad. Can we undelete? Okay, my bad. What's up, Det Player? Or Det Bird, fuck. Why did I not? Lonk versus Unremarkable versus Goji Chronic versus Unknown 871 versus the Gaming Rift, who wins? I'll run all their fates, dog. Broly from the Broly movie versus Jiren from the Tournament of Power. Jiren, in my opinion. Here's the reasoning behind it. You got Broly, right? And he's stated to be like as strong as Beerus by Goku. We need Invincible Scaler if we want to scale Invincible Comics. Yeah, we need him every single time. Hold on, let me try to remember. Yeah. Who thinks Ichigo is trash? Not me. I love Ichigo, dog. What are you talking about? Okay.
The big three, I think it's pretty obvious that the Bleach verse is the most difficult to concretely power scale in the same way you can.
Okay, I don't care. Actually, I'm just gonna skip the entire introduction.
Or will he be burying the verse like it's describing of the Dragon Ball character before comparing him, as is customary?
Okay. 50 seconds. A whole lot of nothing. Power. Oh, actually, there's some scaling that you. Movie Supersonic consistently has power burst feats which travel across the entire universe. Once. It happened once. In Sonic's base form. We don't know the increase for Supersonic in the movies either, by the way. He's actually stronger than Beerus. He has said probably stronger. Almost most guides for the Broly movie said Broly is the strongest enemy. Those guidebooks actually are mistranslated. If you translate them properly, all of them say strongest rival or strongest opponent. For Jiren, I believe, which is different from Broly, who is stated to be the strongest enemy. So Jiren is the strongest rival for Goku, and Broly is the strongest enemy. And those are two very different things, and it's very important to understand that. Where does Master Roshi scale? At least 40. Like, honestly. End is Goku versus Infinite Zamasu. Goku, actually. Damn, I almost flipped up, but yeah, it's Goku, 100%. Getting prideful? Yeah. Ultra ego unremarkable here.
At this point, we'll begin with the scaling of the Dragon Ball character before comparing him to the verse in the big three. Unlike
Tien versus Bleach is probably like one of the most horrific mismatches I've ever seen in my life. Tien's cool and all. I don't know what he's gonna do against Yahoo or Yuha, if you want to be lame. I don't know what he's gonna do against Aizen. You got characters even from even Ichigo, honestly, might outscale him, but that depends on your interpretation. Toriyama stated that Broly is the strongest in an interview. Yeah, like fucking Broly from Superhero, not Broly from the Broly movie. Okay? If you think Jiren is stronger than Broly, how does Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta do against Jiren? Honestly. No, actually, I remember... Oh, shit. Okay. You should do Lonk's vid on Goku versus Pokemon. Want your take because he downplayed Goku heavy in that video. Will do. We'll do Tien versus Bleach first, and then we'll do this one. And then there's another video that we got to do. Someone paid me to do last stream, but the stream crashed, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm tired. Based. Number 2. But yeah, in my opinion, views Zamasu being stronger than Beerus, even if it's by like a tiny bit, is consistent. Put that one right there. But you could argue about it. You could debate it, I suppose. No, I'm not watching any drip sauce. I have a pretty firm stance. No drip sauce, no comic curator. Oh yeah, if you guys want to be like I pick and get your donos glued onto the screen so you can cover my screen up, you could totally do the same thing that they're doing. Even 99-cent donations go a long way. You know how much you can buy with 99 cents? Like if you get 5 99 cents, right? You can buy a chicken sandwich. You could buy a McDonald's Sprite for like $3.99. Love Sprite.
Like the other human Z fighters, Tien is introduced as a truly powerful threat and is the final.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yamcha is actually stated by the narrator in the original Dragon Ball anime. He's like Yamcha the Undefeated or something. I could probably find it. But yeah, he's called Yamcha the Stronger or something. No, not wrong one. Okay, hold on. I know this is really nitpicky, but this is something that I just have on memory, for whatever reason. Yeah, here we are. Let's see. These are really high quality scans, by the way. Damn, okay. Maybe I won't be able to find it. Yeah, probably not, damn it. Okay. Does the manga have anything to say about it? No, damn it. Okay. We might need to take a field trip, children. Actually, Yamcha. Yeah, we'll just look up like Yamcha introduction sub. I totally fucked up the spelling on that, but whatever. This is Yamcha. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but we all get the point, right? You know, a little minor nitpick. You know, no one really cares, but at the same time. Well, can you prove Jiren over Broly? Yes, watch me. So, Broly is stated by Goku. Actually, let me verify this. Let me verify. No, I'm not being Mr. Krabs. It's just like people last stream were telling the people that were donating to donate more when that's not really like their burden. Like if you want to fucking cover the screen, like fucking like you contribute to that. Don't make the people that are already shilling out money shill out more money for that. That's just something that got on my nerves a couple streams ago, but whatever. What am I looking for again? Oh yeah, Broly. Let's see. Boring. The fuck is this? Gogeta versus Broly, the crash of Super Saiyan Shadow that was. Huh, interesting. Okay, anyway. Oh, this one's really fucking funny. Awakening to Super Saiyan full power, he fights on equal terms with Gogeta, but loses as This scan is so fucking stupid. Because if you've watched the actual movie, you know Gogeta was dogging this man. Gogeta was tearing this man apart. That's a stupid scan, meant to like hype up the movie. The Broly movie had like a few of those kind of things. And now we just kind of have to deal with it, but whatever. Okay, probably won't be able to find it because holy fuck, there's a lot of information to take into account. The strongest of all the enemies Goku and his friends have faced. Here's the thing. All of those statements for Broly being the strongest enemy, Jiren isn't an enemy per se, and even the Tournament of Power backs this up during the entire fight. Jiren is considered a rival to Goku. A trans-dimensional ultimate battle, yeah. Jiren is considered a rival to Goku, not an enemy. Enemy implies more malicious. Oh shit, what the fuck? Oh, okay. I might be wrong. According to Dragon Ball Xenoverse, when you level up Broly and Jiren to level 99, Jiren has a higher power level than Broly has a higher power level than Jiren. So maybe I was capping the whole time. Maybe Fuck. Okay, fair enough. I'm not gonna be able to find the God of Destruction scan, am I? Because there's so much fucking shit. Fucking. No, yeah, that's probably a hard no on the God of Destruction scan that I'm looking for, but whatever. We all have seen the Broly movie, so it doesn't matter. Also, Frieza says what remarkable power. Remarkable? Say that again. When referring to Broly on the movie, that he. You know what? You know what's crazy? That actually doesn't necessarily mean anything. Because Piccolo, during Dragon Ball Daima, says that Super Saiyan 4 Goku has like incredible power or something. He's like, what power? And, uh, you know, okay, fucking won't be able to find it because fucking Dragon Ball Daima scaling is boring as shit, apparently. Yeah, not gonna be able to find it, but Super Saiyan 4 Goku actually does worse against Goma than base fatigued adult Vegeta. And we know that it's not like base Vegeta at this point is like above Ultimate Gohan. Like we're not like that. We're not unless you believe unless you buy into the Mind Trap filler, in which case, there's an argument there. But it's not like in the 1 year between the Buu Saga and Daima, these I have been working on a Daima video actually, but I can't really get the thumbnail right. I don't like how this looks. So we might try to think of something else for the Daima video, but yeah. Watch Lonks Takes videos? No. No. If you've seen my streams before, you should know I'm skeptical with his opinions. I'm skeptical. We'll put it like that. I know no hate to him, obviously, because you know, hating on people for power scaling opinions is stupid. Unless it's drip sauce, in which case, fuck him. But I'm joking, by the way. Don't take that out of context. Let's see. Oh yeah, yeah. Some people are like, oh man, Dragon Ball Daima, adult Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think it's getting up there with like, the God forms from Dragon Ball Super. I think they could. I think Daima Goku could run a fade with GT Goku. Like, get out of here, get out of here. Get Daima Goku above Kid Buu. Get Daimaku above Kid Buu, and then maybe, maybe we could talk. But currently, I remember I said this a while ago, and I stand by it. I personally still stand by it. There is no proof that anyone in this show is above Kid Buu. In my honest opinion, no evidence. You should be skeptical with any power scaling opinion. It's just, react to the Metal Sonic versus Cell fan battle. Yeah, we'll try to fit that in.
final opponent of the arc he first appears in, being the 22nd Budokai. Thankfully, guidebooks directly tell us that at this point, Tien's power level is 180. As we know, power levels in early Dragon Ball are not linear at all, with even small increases multiplying one's power level multiple times over. As Kid Goku's power level increased by a small...
This is true. This is accurate. There's a scan from Dragon Ball Forever. This might be Dragon Ball Forever as well. I think this actually is from Dragon Ball Forever, but there's another scan from Dragon Ball Forever, which is really weird. It says that the super water, or the super holy water, or whatever it was that Goku drank only doubled his power. I could probably find it, but... Goma was stated to be the strongest opponent. Wrong. False. Incorrect. Get out of here. Yeah, that scan is, like, you can easily interpret that as meaning enemies in Dragon Ball Daima. And the enemies in Dragon Ball Daima, you know, like the two Majins, all the Tamagamis. Damn shit, that shit's fucking tough. But yeah, all the enemies in Dragon Ball Daima at that point, like that's probably what the rest of the scan is referring to. In fact, let me find it. Let me read it off to you. It's this one, right? Yeah. Here it is. The story finally reaches its climax. Goku and his friends face off against the strongest enemy, Goma, translation issues, who has obtained the demon's third eye. The climax trailer for the final battle is unleashed. The beginning of this statement and the end of this statement are referring to Dragon Ball Daima. So why would this middle statement be referring to Dragon Ball as a whole, or Dragon Ball up to that point? It's far more consistent, in my opinion, for this to mean the strongest enemy in Dragon Ball Daima. And in fact, if you think that Dragon Ball Daima is canon to Super, which it is contentious to think that, there is some evidence saying that it is canon to Super. One of the showrunners for Daima, if I remember correctly, said, actually, we can check general info for this. Yeah, set months after Buu's defeat, but before Beerus' arrival in Super. This is from the creator, was directly involved in shaping... Oh, that's Akira Toriyama, never mind. But yeah, there's that. But there is some kind of conflicting evidence with things like... there are some inconsistencies, but I don't usually argue inconsistencies, personally. There's some references to Dragon Ball Super in there as well, but references can mean anything. Some of the more interesting stuff to think about, though, in the Girl Talk option for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the Super versions of Videl, Chi-Chi, and Bulma don't seem to recognize any of the Daima characters. So, yeah, conflicting information. But if you do think that Kid Buu is... if you do think that Dragon Ball Super is canon to Dragon Ball Daima, which it's not like a bad or wrong opinion. Think whatever you want. I myself am currently trying to fish through the information and trying to figure out what exactly everything is kind of trying to like flow together and fit together and all that. Dragon Ball Super actually has some interesting statements regarding Kid Buu, and they generally say the same thing. It's like Kid Buu is the strongest enemy they have ever faced. I'll try to find them. Probably not going to be able to find them because there's so much fucking shit for Kid Buu. Holy fuck. There is a lot of shit for Kid Buu. But if you think that... here it is. The sudden appearance of Buu, the mightiest enemy of all time. Here it is. I believe that's a fan translation. There's the Viz translation, which is honestly worse, but the Viz translation says something very similar. And the anime for Super backs this up too. But this is only if you think that Super is canon to Daima, which is contentious, like I said, so you can think it however you want. Why wouldn't they be above Kid Buu when Super Saiyan 3 Goku was fighting Kid Buu evenly? They weren't, by the way. Kid Buu was dog walking Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Look, okay, so here's Kid Buu, like, smile, like, he looks like Sonic in this picture, honestly, but look. If I had known it would be like this, I would have put you away for good when we were Vegito. Goku cannot beat Buu. And there are lots of scans for this, by the way. You truly are strong, greater than I ever imagined you. Yeah, right there. Let's see. Now, there are some conflicting statements. Goku seems to think that if he charges up to 100%, he can take out Kid Buu. But there are also other statements that seem to contradict this. And in my opinion, Goku just kind of misjudged the situation. Look, even Goku himself admits the Potara could have done it. Maybe I tried to act too cool, but I thought this would be better. Goku, weirdly enough, kind of tried to ego the fight against Kid Buu. And some people think he did it to try and convince Vegeta to kind of like be a team player. Here. This is from Daizenshu. Even a full power Goku can't defeat him. That goes for you too. Like I said, that Buu is stronger than I imagined. That goes for you too. Yeah, okay, so Vegeta's just saying that that Buu is stronger than he could have imagined, and Goku's up there too. So that doesn't really mean anything or change anything. But there was also statements in the anime from Goku directly, where he basically says, "I can't defeat you even at full power," which is consistent with Daizenshu. So my personal interpretation, Goku thought at first that the fight with Kid Buu would be not easy, but he could do it himself. And he kind of tried to ego the fight, not necessarily like impress Vegeta, but kind of like get him on his side a little more. Kind of try to, here's another. This might be from Daizenshu as well, but even with his full power, Goku can't beat him. Yeah, right there. So Goku kind of tries to fight Kid Buu. And he realizes this guy is way stronger than I thought. If I can find the statements, because fucking there's so much shit for Kid Buu. Yeah, here it is. You're strong, all right, Buu. Even fighting you at full strength, you do me in. And here, the Elder Kaio and Kibito Kai and Dende, will they be able to win against Majin Buu like that? Well, if the two of them put their powers together, referring to the Potara. So no. Goku was not fighting evenly with Kid Buu. Kid Buu was holding back the entire time. Why didn't Vegeta go Super Saiyan 4 against Beerus in Battle of Gods? I don't know. He just didn't, I guess. Like, he didn't know Super Saiyan 4 and Daima, but if you're asking, like, like, hypothetically, if he gets Super Saiyan 4 after Daima, why didn't he use Super Saiyan 4 against Beerus when he got enraged? The only thing I can tell you is that it's an inconsistency. Which there are inconsistencies across the entirety of Dragon Ball as a franchise. It's not special or new. Even the manga, even in the original manga, it contradicts itself. The anime especially contradicts itself very often. But the manga even, Toriyama was 100% the GOAT, but even he couldn't keep, 500, nearly 600 chapters of information consistent altogether, which is completely fine. Where do I scale Kid Buu, AP, and speed-wise? Anywhere from 4th dimensional, like low multi, to 6th dimensional, complex multi, depending on your interpretation of Dragon Ball cosmology. And then with infinite speed, based on the anime, maybe inaccessible speed, based on being able to move faster than the Kai Kai, which is an instantaneous move in Daizenshu, according to Daizenshu. How strong has Goku gotten in Daima ever since the Buu saga? Super Saiyan 4 Goku should be above Kid Buu, as Goku literally told he was training for Super Saiyan 4 after Kid Buu. Yeah, here's the thing, though. Goku was training for Kid Buu in Super 2, and it's debatable if he even reached the level of Kid Buu there. And that was a Goku with more time to train. Like, there's really no inconsistencies, in my opinion, unless you can present them to me. For Kid Buu being weaker than anyone in Dragon Ball Daima. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, you know how Majin Buu was really strong. I had no chance of beating him on my own. Goku says that directly in the Super anime. And that's why Goku is training. Goku is training in case someone like Kid Buu comes around again. And the issue with that is that it kind of does imply that Goku is training because he himself does not think that he is strong enough to handle Kid Buu should anyone of his level come around the Earth again. And this is consistent with Goku's dream to fight Kid Buu as a good guy. He was going to fight him in Super Saiyan in his mental fight. That's only in the manga, by the way. That's only in the Dragon Ball Super manga. And even then, that's a Goku with 4 years of training under his belt. Compare that to Dragon Ball Daima Goku, only like 1 year. Honestly, maybe even less than that, less than a year. Honestly, you could make a pretty good argument for Goku getting assuming Super Saiyan 4 is like a 5 times multiplier, maybe a 10 times multiplier. You can make a pretty decent argument for Goku getting 80 times stronger across 4 years of training. And it wouldn't be inconsistent either, because Goku usually kind of gets those kind of amps across training, across those kind of time skips. In fact, you can argue that Goku would sometimes get like a fusion level increase from training. So yeah. We also got to ask, how strong has Goku gotten in Daima ever since the Buu Saga? Daima Goku kind of gets hard locked for a lot of the story because he's a kid most of the time. Goku is the strongest in Dragon Ball Daima, but honestly, that doesn't really mean anything. That just means he's stronger than like Vegeta, stronger than Gotenks likely, stronger than Ultimate Gohan. Which is true for the Buu Saga too, by the way. In fact, my personal opinion, Super Saiyan 3 Goku in the Buu Saga is on par with Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. He might honestly be stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, in my opinion. Have you watched Dragon Ball Absalon? I have seen Absalon, actually. It's a very well-animated, well-put-together Dragon Ball fan series. Very good. So you're arguing Super Saiyan 3 Goku in Super hasn't surpassed Kid Buu after 4 years of training, and with a hypothetical Super Saiyan 4 in his bag if Daima is canon to Super. Here's the thing, right? Yes, the stream died multiple times, but here's the thing. You can argue that Goku in Super is like Super Saiyan level when he fights Kid Buu, right? Which honestly, one second. Even that is contentious because you can make the argument. This can be used to prove that Goku didn't get stronger since Buu. Hold on, let me read this. The story of Dragon Ball Z, God and God, Battle of Gods, takes place between the fierce battle with the greatest enemy Majin Buu and the appearance of Oob 10 years later. The characters have not changed since the battle with Majin Buu. That's interesting. What's the source of this? This might be from the Battle of Gods official movie guide. You could interpret it however you want. Goku not getting any stronger over 4 years has literally never happened. So even I wouldn't really. I mean, you can if you want to. You could try to take that into account, but no, I'm pretty sure there's way more statements for Goku kind of getting way stronger after. The events of Battle Gods takes place when every character is at their strongest. Yeah. Goku had become so strong that you wondered how he could get possibly any. I'm saving this one, by the way. So I think that's why, in this movie, Akira Toriyama Sensei designed a new enemy character called Beerus, the God of Destruction. New enemy character, by the way. So all those people that were saying for my Omega Shenron statement from the official, again, I got to remind you, the official Battle of Gods movie guidebook, Omega Shenron is the strongest enemy. Beerus is also an enemy. Where is it? Beerus is also an enemy. Take it however you will. Let's see. Yeah, we were looking for this stuff, right? Yeah, here we are. Here's the thing. So Goku has this look. Kid Buu has this look. So Kid Buu is probably gonna manhandle Super Saiyan Goku a little bit, and Super Saiyan Goku might need to use Super Saiyan 2. Here's the thing. Even if we want to assume that Super Saiyan Goku can fight on par with Kid Buu, because in my opinion, this like Kid Buu's expression and Goku's expression, that's not Goku thinking that he's going to be able to beat Buu easily, in my opinion. So we'll say they're on par. I think that's pretty fair. Super Saiyan 2 is a 2 times multiplier from Super Saiyan, and then Super Saiyan 3 is a 4 times multiplier from that. So Super Saiyan 4 is like 10 times, right? So what is that? That's like that's 40 times. All you have to do to say that Kid Buu is stronger than anyone in Daima is say that Goku here got 40 times more powerful, or over 40 times more powerful, which is very consistent in my opinion. Got harmed by bullets. That was at the start of the Tournament of Power. That wasn't at the start of Super as a whole, so that doesn't really count. Get stronger due to him being a Saiyan. You can argue that, but not really. Super Saiyan 2 Rage Vegeta from Battle of Gods against Kid Buu, who wins? Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta there is actually stated to surpass Goku. In the anime and the manga too, I want to say, and in the movie. So is Goma a Rildo opponent? Rildo dog walks Goma. Goma is going to get turned to paste from General Rildo, honestly, in my opinion. The strongest clash. Yeah, it's pretty obvious, but the strongest Kamehameha, like, obviously, but Dragon Ball Super anime Goku versus Dragon Ball Super manga Goku. Dragon Ball Super manga Goku might take that just based on stamina alone. Still trying to figure out like who is objectively stronger. They should both be on the same dimensional tier at least. So debate that however you will. But yeah, I feel like I made a I think I defended my case pretty well. Now look, you never know when another strong enemy like Buu will appear again. You always got to be ready. So Goku is still training for an enemy like Buu. He doesn't say stronger than Buu. An enemy like Buu. But yeah, okay. I feel like I made a pretty good case for all my arguments. Hello there, Mr. Akil. All right, someone asked me Vegeta versus Kid Buu. So here's the thing about that, right? That version of Vegeta is actually not stated to surpass Vegito. That's the issue. And when Super Saiyan 2 Rage Vegeta goes to fight Beerus, there's actually a mistranslation where the anime and the movie, if I remember correctly, Beerus says it's been a while since I've used 10% of my power. This is actually an infamous mistranslation. If I remember correctly. It's actually 1% of his original power. Based on the actual wording used. If I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that. But I remember this actually used to be like a really big meme. And even the Dragon Ball fandom wiki kind of commented on this, but I probably won't be able to find the page. Yeah. Also, you know what's even funnier? Might not. Damn it. Okay, fucking. Probably won't be able to find it because fucking every single time. But something interesting to note about Kid Buu in relation to Beerus is that Goku might actually consider Kid Buu not infinitesimally weaker than It might honestly be in the Kid Buu section again. Yeah, it's probably here. If I can find it. It was during the Universe 6 tournament arc. I should just, like, download all these things. Yeah. Also, the fact that Goku in Super is training for an enemy like Buu and not an enemy like Goma, that adds a little more, if you think, by the way. Vegeta implies that, okay, yeah, here it is. Goku says, well, we can't leave out Buu, I think. Evil Buu's gone now. Are you sure he's up for it? Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Vegeta, Goku says we have to bring Majin Buu. Vegeta questions, Evil Buu, this Buu. I know Evil Buu is another, like, separate entity, but that's not who Vegeta is referencing here. He's referencing Kid Buu. Are you sure he's up to it? This one, and he compares Fat Buu to that. Beerus beat him in one punch, remember? So Kid Buu might not get one shot by Beerus. At least not Battle of Gods anime Beerus. It's weird. Why do you think Goma loses to Kid Buu when he can't grow in power and had insane hacks abilities? He literally can't lose. He lost in the fucking show. But even if you wanted to go with you wanted to say that actually, what's funny? Kid Buu also has statements of being able to grow in power. If I can find them, of course, but might not be able to find it because fucking all this shit. Yeah, like, to kind of hammer home how powerful Kid Buu is, Goku actually thinks that General Rildo is the first opponent to surpass Kid Buu. So Legic, Lord Lude, the Sigma Force, all of them were weaker than Kid Buu. And all of those guys would honestly probably put Goma on a shirt. Probably won't be able to find it because fucking Kid Buu has statements in the guidebooks. He gets strong. Oh, this might be it. A terrifying demon who continues to fight on instinct. This is Buu in the state immediately after being created by the wizard Babidi. He's a malicious being who relentlessly seeks destruction, causing havoc throughout the entire universe. With his high power level and the ability to quickly learn his opponent's techniques, he grows stronger with each battle. So you can argue even Kid Buu would grow in strength fighting Goma. What? No, don't pay me again. No. No money. Not you. You did enough. Not you. Do not. But yeah. Let's see. Is Fusion Reborn canon, or it can't fit in the timeline because of Vegeta's death? The movies are generally considered a separate continuity from the anime. Unless you take GT into account, GT is a special exception. How does Goma even lose to Kid Buu? And Goku literally said Goma is a character pure strength can't be, and that he has insane adaptation, hacks, and regeneration. If you can't, so does Kid Buu. Kid Buu has all of that. Are you saying things, Goku? I literally cannot see you in the chat. Honestly. Yeah, I don't see you. Are you shadow banned? You might be shadow banned. Is that Z Kai? Hold on, it might be. 1 second. Of course I closed it. Even if it is Dragon Ball Z Kai, that might honestly be more credible because Dragon Ball Z Kai is marketed as Akira Toriyama's original vision, No filler. So you can argue Z Kai is just as valid as the original anime. It does have some alternating statements. You know, the language is a little different, but it should still be applicable. All right, I need to actually react to the videos.
percent after training with Korin, but his strength still multiplied several times over. So a power level of 180 does not mean Tien is only a couple dozen times stronger than Goku was in the first chapter. Most importantly for this version of Tien though, we are told directly that his Tri-Beam has greater destructive power than even Master Roshi's Kamehameha. At bare minimum, this makes the Tri-Beam a moon-busting attack.
You know what's funny? Long's takes, you know, in one of his older videos, it was like, could Goku survive the Shibuya incident? He actually says that characters during this point in the story cannot scale to Master Roshi's moon-busting Kamehameha because that would be an attack in the thousands in terms of power level, which I just thought was really funny. Yeah, actually, let's spread the love. I'll send it in the Discord server, and then you people can just join the Discord. Because if you're asking for it, you're probably already in the Discord. We'll put that right there. Information to all, and to all good night. Oh, shit. Okay, 1 second.
El Manga Legendario, the Kamehameha at this point might arguably have already been a planet-destroying technique, meaning...
You know, if you look into the actual calcs behind Master Roshi's moonbusting, planet level. Like, so, this is actually consistent. How did the whole Kid Buu versus Buuhan debate even start? Dragon Ball fans in the early 2000s were really dumb. If that's the case, how does Goku Super Saiyan 3 from Fusion Reborn do against Kid Buu if he is stronger than his anime counterpart? You know what's funny about that? Where's Vegito? Vegito. What's really funny about Vegito, right, is that you can unironically argue that Goku in the anime might scale somewhat to his movie counterpart. Somewhat, anyway. Not necessarily, by like a crazy amount, but, he still downscales, more than likely. Probably won't be able to fucking find it because there's so much goddamn information out there regarding these characters. There's a lore guy at Toei, right? And Dragon Ball, and they kind of make sure that everything's like up to code and all that, right? Because it would be really weird if they were kind of just walking around and like they were just like, let's not fact check anything, let's just say random shit. Shit. Okay, where's the fucking V-jump scan? We know what I'm referring to, though, right? Like, at the very least, we all know that one V-jump scan where it's like Vegito versus Gogeta. And it's comparing Buu Saga Vegito to Fusion Reborn Gogeta. You could argue it's only referring to, like, hypothetical Goku and Vegeta using the same parts. Or a hypothetical Gogeta and Vegito using the same parts. But honestly, in my opinion, all the other guidebooks say that Vegito is stronger than Gogeta, so, either way, no matter how you slice it, you can argue that everyone in the anime downscales their movie counterpart, yeah, but not to an insane degree. So Kid Buu might still beat movie Goku. Oh, right. So if you join the Discord, right? Join the Discord, by the way. You should totally join the Discord. My friend put a lot of hard work into the Discord. You can put your videos into reaction submissions. and I'll react to them. We got to get through this one first, and then we'll get through the one that the guy paid me to do, and then we'll get through the other one that the guy paid me to do, but then we'll get into these ones. Promise.
The Tri-Beam was even stronger than that. Of course, Tien continues to train it.
Fun fact, Tien actually considers his Tri-Beam too dangerous to pull out against Goku. So Lonk is low-key spitting right now. I think that's the first time I've ever said that, but Lonk low-key spitting. I could probably find it if I look for it. Yeah, Tien from OG Ball. Damn, these scans are so nice. Holy fuck. But yeah, if I remember correctly, when fighting Goku during the 23rd Tenkaichi, okay, I see. So fuck me in the ass. Whatever. Tien actually considers the Tri-Beam too dangerous to pull out against Goku. So that's factual. Kid from Future Reborn since Janemba bullies. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. Kid Buu is stronger than Janemba, by the way. Doesn't Fusion Reborn Goku have outer args? No. And even if he does, anime Goku has the same stuff.
Throughout Dragon Ball, though he's quickly left in the dust by Goku and both Piccolos. Still, at this time, he learns the Mafuba, a powerful sealing technique, and further develops his other abilities. Still, though, it's clear that Tien is the strongest human on Earth at this time. Entering the Saiyan Saga, Tien continues to retain this title. After preparing for the arrival of Nappa and Vegeta, Tien's power level skyrockets to 1,830, making him the second strongest person currently on Earth.
Okay, yeah, this is accurate. That's Gohan when he's angry, but other than that, yeah. Yeah, this is all accurate.
Besides Piccolo and technically Gohan when he's angry. Of course, things don't go too well for him when he goes up against Nappa, who's roughly twice as strong as he is. Even his Tri-Beam is ultimately ineffective against the Saiyan. Though this isn't really an L on Tien's part, as even Goku with a power level of 8,000 thought Nappa was exceedingly durable. Of course, over the next arc, Tien then spends his entire time on King Kai's planet, and in anime continuity of events, he grows over 20 times stronger, as he's able to fight against the members of the Ginyu.
Yeah. Let's see. 100 Waffle House employees versus Goku. I don't know if Goku can handle that. OG Dragon Ball Goku versus Monster Garo is pretty close. Maybe. Is Janemba and Kid Buu equals or not? No, Kid Buu's way stronger. Kid Buu dog walks Janemba. Like, in my honest opinion, if you want to do we'll talk Dragon Ball Z specifically for this. So only Z, right? No Battle of Gods, no Resurrection F either. So, actually, no, we'll include them. So, if I were to give you the top 5 strongest enemies in Dragon Ball Z, using only Z characters, right? It would go Beerus, Golden Frieza, and then after that, Broly. And honestly, you could argue Broly is above Golden Frieza, but honestly, like, that's what I choose to believe because it's funny. But you could debate that. And then under that, Kid Buu. Do Goten and Trunks have Super Saiyan 3? No. They have never showcased the ability to use Super Saiyan 3 outside of Gotenks. Fusions have special characteristics, by the way, that grant them abilities that the two Fusees individually don't have. So, Kid Buu stronger than Janemba. Explain why, since Janemba beat a stronger Goku compared to the Goku that beat Kid Buu from the anime. I explained very clearly. Goku in the anime is not even close to the level of Kid Buu. And I stand by this. I'm kind of hoping I can find some like weird goon statements for Golden Frieza that get him above. Oh, even Frieza's no pants. Okay, so never mind. I was looking for weird edgy statements that said that Golden Frieza was stronger than Beerus, but Golden Frieza had immeasurable power. Yeah, so that just means it's stronger than everyone else with the exception of Beerus. Damn. My weird wank got instantly shut down. But yeah, Kid Buu. Okay, so if you think that the movies are canon to the anime, we'll get that out of the way. But if you do think that, Kid Buu is actually stated by Goku to be the strongest opponent he's ever faced. meaning Kid Buu over Janemba objectively. Now, here's the thing, right? In a lot of these guidebooks that have like the movies and the anime kind of combined into one thing, like Daizenshu comments on this a few times. Kid Buu is always referred to as stronger than Janemba every single time, and so is Buhan. Honestly, Buhan also kind of has better feats than anyone in Fusion Reborn. You can argue Buhan is like a macrocosm level threat, and then Janemba is like an otherworld threat. So what's bigger, otherworld or the entire macrocosm? And then Kid Buu is stronger than Buhan. So yeah.
Force with power levels of 40 to 50,000. Now, just to be clear, when talking about the anime version of Tien, these feats are valid. The anime is a completely separate canon from the manga, and the non-manga events that occur are completely approved by Toriyama. Either way, at this point, he would at least be large planetary, if not reaching the dwarf star levels of power and beyond. Of course, once he comes back to life...
You could argue higher, but, enough with the gooning. Is Kid Buu stronger than Buhan? Yes. Have I seen Dragon Ball Kakume? I have. Beautiful art, by the way. Dragon Ball Kakume looks beautiful. The issue is that the story is just not all that. Kakume, yeah. I don't like the story of Dragon Ball Kakume. A lot of people say it's boring. I think a lot of the artwork is very beautiful. Like, look at this Beerus. That's beautiful. Look at this Gohan. Look at this Vegeta. Look at this Goku. Beautiful. But I personally can't really get into the story at all. I don't like it. Beautifully drawn, of course. Just not for me. How far would Minecraft Steve get in Dragon Ball? No feat that anime Kid Buu puts him above Goku shaping the afterlife. Also, Gogeta had to go Super Saiyan to take and play. No, not really, actually. In fact, Vegito kind of beat the shit out of Buhan in base form for a while. So that honestly doesn't mean anything, realistically speaking. And Kid Buu is stronger than Buhan, so even if we wanted to treat Janemba and Buhan as two equals or relatives in terms of power, Kid Buu would be stronger than Janemba anyway. And by the way, Kid Buu actually has universal statements, and not just like the regular universe either. There's this one infamous translation of Goku, and he says, if we don't stop Kid Buu, the entire universe will go poof. And here's the thing. They're in the realm of the Kaioshin when they fight, and this is backed up by El Manga Legendario, as you can see here. Battle for the destiny of the universe. Here's the thing. The universe, in this instance, is not just the living universe. It's the entire macrocosm, because they're fighting in the realm of the Kaioshin. And this is backed up in Daizenshu. Once again, look. This is from Daizenshu. The final measure is a Genki Dama, gathered from the power of all the people on Earth. Buu is annihilated by this maximum level of power. Meaning this Genki Dama, the Spirit Bomb, that Goku made to kill Kid Buu, is above Super Vegito in terms of power. Scale Kakume, weaker than Dragon Ball Super. Their feats are less impressive.
If the likes of Frieza and the androids are
AF Goku dog walks.
Clearly still too much for Tien to handle, as he gets easily manhandled by them. However, once again, the Tri-Beam is a different tier of power entirely. Anyone who knows Dragon Ball knows Tien's Neo Tri-Beam is able to somewhat damage and outright pin down Semi-Perfect Cell, which is better than anything the androids or Saiyans could do up to this point until Super Vegeta arrives. While Tien does show up in the Buu Saga and participates more than they are humans, it doesn't really change his scaling. All he does is stop a single ki blast from Buu tanks that was meant to kill Hercule and Dende, with a second blast making him instantly say he's useless, so his scaling doesn't change here. Tien does not scale to Buu in any way, shape, or form. Moving on to Dragon Ball Super though, Tien really doesn't get any more scaling until the Tournament of Power. In the lead up to the tournament, Tien is pretty consistently portrayed as the...
Yeah. We were talking about this a couple streams ago, but why did Gohan try to kill Tien here? Why did Gohan try to murder Tenshinhan for no reason? Like, okay, can you name me 5 times where Gohan and Tien have ever interacted? This is probably the third time they've spent more than, like, a minute talking to each other. And Gohan just tries to kill him. It doesn't make sense for Goku to be able to destroy the macrocosm during the Buu saga, at that time just a living universe or heaven. Why? Why doesn't it make sense? Because here's the thing. He can only destroy it when achieving God. That's wrong. That is wrong. That is false, my good sir. Here's the thing, right? Super Saiyan God Goku was punching away the universe casually. He wasn't even trying to. It was an accident. It was a byproduct of him not controlling his power. Compare that to Kid Buu, who could charge up a full power energy attack and destroy the macrocosm. Which of these is more impressive? Randomly punching and accidentally destroying the macrocosm, or Kid Buu charging up his full absolute strength and destroying the macrocosm? It's God Goku. There's no contradictions here. How far would Minecraft Steve get in Dragon Ball? Oh yeah, you asked me that. What if your power scaling is bad too? My power scaling? I don't know about that. I think my power scaling is pretty good. But yeah. Steve is a Buu Saga victim. Even with highest possible interpretation, Buu Saga victim. I always love when people say it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Make it make sense. Literally. Like, take the pieces of information that they have given us and put it together. An explanation. Here it is. Or else the entire universe is completely done for if we lose. Where would you scale Goku? 5D to 7D, based on your interpretation of the Dragon Ball macrocosm, with immeasurable speed. You can argue outer, too, by the way, but, outer makes things boring, in my opinion. Oh, yeah, I was looking for fucking Gohan versus Tien. Gohan trying to fucking murder Tien. For no reason. Here's the thing. Here's something to chew on, by the way. Yeah, there's Gohan in base just trying to kill Tien for no reason. But here's something you could chew on, right? Tien was trying to use his Tri-Beam when Gohan tries to kill him here. And, Gohan's urgency probably implies that the Tri-Beam is probably dangerous, even now, so. Where do I skill Kid Buu? 4D to 6D, depending on your interpretation of the Dragon Ball macrocosm, with infinite speed, maybe inaccessible speed.
The weakest guy on the team, barely being able to keep up with base Goku while fighting Gohan. However, as is the nature of Dragon Ball Super, it seems like Tien rapidly grew in power between this training and the actual TOP. In episode 106, Universe 7 is fighting this random sniper guy whose name I don't remember, but whose attacks are strong enough to blow off both of Piccolo's arms at once and be a threat to Ultimate Gohan, Goku, and Vegeta. Tien, then using his multiform technique that splits his power into quarters, is able to both survive shots from this sniper without any visible damage and also overpower him with the Tri-Beam. I understand how that seems ridiculous compared to Tien's performance even a day prior, but what happened happened, and you can't this hasn't happened in Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah. In my opinion... Oh, wait, get the fuck out of here. You could probably make a pretty good argument, that doesn't matter, for Tien being stronger than the base Saiyans, or being not being stronger than, but downscaling the base Saiyans, in my opinion. Why did Gohan try to murder this man for no reason? That's one of the funniest episodes, in my opinion, just because Gohan was on fucking demon time against Ten Shinhan. but whatever. Yeah, these get to go over here. More of the screen gets covered because I want you all to remember the day when Gohan tried to murder an innocent man. Isn't it easy to Goku? No, that's stupid. Isn't it easy to argue Goku only being low multi since he's destroying a finite amount of universes? That would be multiversal plus, by the way, and higher dimensions are very much a factor here. So, do you think Orange Piccolo from the anime is exclusively stronger than MUI Goku from the Tournament of Power? Yes. Can you please make your live streams and the videos? No. Maybe, but, you know.
Before. Regardless, this means at worst that Tien is comparable to the likes of base form Saiyans, though he could be as high as blue level at best with the Tri-Beam, given that Gohan was threatened by these same attacks, and Gohan was able to fight Blue Goku. So,
yeah. Kind of wanky in my opinion, but, you know, it's to each their own, whatever.
Again, a nerf Tien surviving the same attack is really impressive. At the bare minimum, Tien would then be a universe buster in attack potency with the Tri-Beam, though at the high end, he's many multiples of power beyond universal and enters into that multiversal tier. By definition, this would put Tien's speed into the bare minimum insanely high-end, faster than light. Substantially slower and weaker characters have feats of crossing the universe in incredibly short periods of time.
That's an infinite speed feat, by the way. I know Lonk is kind of one of those guys that like to, you know, ignore information, honestly. It's not even downplay. It's just ignoring shit, but, you know, infinite speed.
It's really up to you which feats you want, but we're talking about the speed on the scale well beyond quadrillions of times faster light. There isn't really much to say about hacks, as most of them are pretty self-evident as a Dragon Ball character, and any relevant hacks interactions will be brought up later. It's important to note that the Neo Tri-Beam now is not life-threatening to Tien anymore, as
yeah, that's a good, that's something that people get wrong, so, you know, good on him for bringing that up. Applause.
he can pop them without literally any fatigue in the Tournament of Power. That being said, will a champion of the Crane School be enough to handle the Bleach verse? Let's get into it. Firstly, just like any anime verse, a grand majority of characters are getting destroyed by Tien, even with just his Saiyan saga scaling. I don't think anyone would disagree that aside from the high tiers, a grand majority of people in the
most entities in the verse are capping at building level. Yeah, like fucking hollows. The hollows that they kill easily, dog. Whatever.
Bleach verse are getting folded by Tien like this.
Tri-Beam!
9 anime based.
Firstly, before we get into the scaling of the high tiers, we do need to cover a primary misconception, and that's spiritual pressure. It's argued that Bleach characters are essentially invisible and intangible to the attacks of most characters from other verses due to the fact that they are spiritual in nature. Even within Bleach, though, characters like Chad, before they unlock any abilities, can damage and smack around hollows they can't even perceive with normal physical objects.
That's just because Chad is based. Gohan pre-Tournament of Power versus Goku Black from the Goku Black arc. Let's see. You can honestly argue. Nah, I'd probably have to say Goku Black. It's pretty close, to be fair, but Goku Black has some interesting statements that kind of cap Gohan a little bit. Like, there's an anime. Yeah, here it is. No, not that one. This one. Okay, here we are. Here it says, this is an interview with the producer of Dragon Ball Super. Who's the strongest out of all the characters from the Goku Black arc? The God of Destruction Beerus is overwhelmingly strong, but if we leave him out, then I think the strongest fighter is Goku Black. I'd say he used Son Goku's power as a base and evolved in his own unique way. And then Gohan, as Ultimate Gohan, was kind of stalemating a Super Saiyan Blue Goku that was rusty. So arguably weaker than he was during the Goku Black arc. That's kind of the issue with that. It's also backed up here. Even if the opponent is immortal and even if the opponent is immortal or the strongest, referring to these two, immortal, strongest, the future will never yield. The final battle is about to begin. No. Multiversal Plus is the tier when you destroy an infinite amount of universes. Multiversal is just when you destroy like a very large amount, according to Versus Battle Wiki. I use Versus Battle Wiki as the baseline. Hello there, Brickwall. Hi. Oh my goodness. In the Broly movie, Gogeta and Broly shattered dimensions and shit, right? Yeah. That space is actually stated to be super dimensional multiple times. So, yeah. That would just be a +1 to the dimensionality, in my opinion. But you could debate that. Aha, 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 ha. Yeah. About GT Goku versus Super Goku. So, uh, so I completed the recording for the Super Goku portion, and then I was just kind of like, man, this is fucking shit. I hated it. I hated how it turned out. It was terrible, and I trashed all of it. So GT Goku versus Super Goku might take a little longer, but it's definitely going to be the second to next video that comes out. I promise. In fact, there's going to be a new video this Sunday. Every way to Sunday. Or honestly, it might be Monday, but you know. Gojo versus Kaiju number 8. We'll have to look into that later. But yeah. Also, I just got new information about Zamasu being potentially above Beerus, so that's going to affect the scale a little bit. Where does superdimensional scale? In my opinion, it's very consistent for it to be like a +1 statement from the like a +1 to the dimensionality. A big debate has been hit from the Universe 6 arc versus Goku Black when he first becomes Rose. Who wins at that point? There's not. If I had to say, probably Hit. Just because we know that he's able to kill a stronger Goku. Because here's the thing. The Goku that fought Hit during their rematch may actually be stronger than Goku Black. You can't really prove that Hit trained at all during that time. So that was just Hit when he wasn't holding back. Hit when he was actually allowed to kill someone. He was able to kill a Goku that was debatably stronger than Goku Black. So in my opinion, Hit would win. But Goku Black also evolves in strength, so you could make an argument for either or. In my opinion, Hit.
Not only do Dragon Ball characters have higher levels of perception than Chad at this point, but Tien's is especially high in comparison to the average Z fighter. Furthermore, one of the main components of Ki is literally the spirit and soul. Therefore, Tien would be able to sense the spiritual energy rating off the Bleach characters, even if he cannot see.
Blah, 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 blah. This is all stuff that we established back in 2014. Fucking Unk's takes.
Them outright. This also means that Tien is not getting his soul crushed by passive spiritual pressure, as his soul is relative to his actual attack potency and power. With out of the way, let's go to Bleach's attack potency. For this video, we'll be focusing on mostly manga and anime content for Bleach, as to be honest, the canonicity of the movies is its own can of worms that I don't...
The movies are canon to Bleach, by the way. Like the Hellverse movie, let's see. Bleach has 4 movies, right? I remember I had a weird dream where I saw Bleach Hellverse, and I had a DVD of it, and I have no reason. I don't know why. There are 5 movies for Bleach. Okay, but yeah, Memories of Nobody, and the Hellverse movie. Oh, and then the live action film. Okay, so there's 4 Bleach movies. Hellverse and Memories of Nobody. I can confirm both of those are canon. These 2 up in the air. From what I know personally, but to each their own. So 5D, depending on your interpretation. It could be 5D, 6D. Some interpretations have it at like 10, 11D, the term superdimensional. So that would make Goku Gogeta, Broly, and all those that scale to them. High complex multiversal. And then with some definitions take it even higher to mean like outer versal. So that would kind of be the method for that. Oh damn, fucking why the fuck are there so many? Oh yeah. Okay, so this is funny. I like this. Fucking you used to be able to tell reposts and all that shit. No, yeah, yeah. Whatever. Okay. I had a dream where I ate a piece of cheese and then a purple dude killed me.
Don't have time to talk about today. Like I mentioned before, even pretty high tier characters are capped at levels of power drastically below Tien. For example, the strongest members of the Espada, like Ulquiorra, display.
The Espada is like halfway through the series, so shut up. Like capped? What do you mean capped? Like the Bleach is like 600 chapters long. The Espada is like chapter 400 or something. Like
Continental to multi-continental feats at
liar. Me when I lie through my teeth.
their high end, both from explosions they generate and
actually no. No, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Nah, he might actually be right. Damn it. Fuck. Okay, whatever.
statements that they can destroy massive structures like Los Noches. Either way, this
Los Noches actually has some interesting statements that kind of make it really fucking big. I can't remember if the Infinite Sand statement is for Hueco Mundo or Los Noches, but, you know, one of the two.
wouldn't get them past even Tien in his first appearance in the manga, who again already has moon-busting scaling at the bare minimum. So ultimately, when it comes to scaling Bleach, there is really only one question that matters when it comes to actually gauging the powers of the high tier of the verse. How big is Soul Society? Who can actually destroy it, and the other dimensions it's connected to, and how are they destroying?
Yamamoto, in the anime for Thousand Year Blood War, was shaking all of the realms when he unleashed his Bankai, if I remember correctly, or his spiritual pressure. So honestly, Yamamoto, and all characters that scale to Yamamoto, for example, like Yuha, Ichigo probably, Aizen probably. Aizen is stronger than Yamamoto. That's something that not a lot of people really take into account, but Aizen, even in his base form, he goes up to Yamamoto, and he's like, if we fought, you would probably win. Meaning Aizen thinks that he might be able to pull off a win. And that was Aizen before he achieves multiple transformations, including a potential transcendental transformation, depending on your interpretation. So,
yeah. You see, in Bleach, it's pretty unclear and definitely inconsistent what characters are talking about when they say the word Soul Society. So the question becomes, are they talking about just the giant city? Are they talking about the city and the planet around it? Or are they talking about the entire dimension containing everything? Data books imply that the world of Soul Society is just the Serite and the Rigonkai, and nothing else outside it, meaning it is still impressively a country-sized city. However, we know for a fact that things exist outside the city, and not only is it clearly on a planet with a curvature, but it has a sun and stars in the sky at night. However, based
there's not just stars. You can actually make out galaxies in some of the manga, but that's over 9,000. Isn't that speed feat non-canon? Which one? There are a few of them. Okay, no, never mind. Sukuna ain't beating Madara. Guess what? Guess what? Yeah, the stream is a little delayed from the monitor. I told you about this. It takes time for my OBS software to transfer the data that I'm streaming to you guys to the machine that they have that processes it to you guys. So, yeah. What is your take on Robin from Teen Titans 2003 versus Homelander? Homelander should got that, honestly. I personally don't believe that Robin is that strong. Where reaction? Fucking people keep asking me questions. That's where the reaction is.
Based on statements, we can help narrow this down. For example, Yamamoto says his 15 million degree Bankai will burn the entirety of Soul.
Here's the thing. Those flames, not flames. It's his spiritual pressure. His spiritual pressure is apparently very hot, but it's not just like he's generating fire. That is his spiritual pressure. Which, again, in the 1,000-Year Blood War anime, which should have been out by the time he made this video, it was shaking the Soul Society, the living world, and potentially the other dimensions as well. So, yeah.
Soul Society.
Even if you don't think that the Soul Society is universal in size, which is pretty ridiculous in my opinion, but even if you don't think that, it would still have to travel across like a beyond infinite distance because the realms are separated by different space-times, if I remember correctly.
Applies to me that at best, Soul Society is just the planet, given that 15
lies. Me when I lie. Me when I'm a liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Could Hit have killed Jiren? Not even close. Here's the thing about Hit versus Jiren, right? An extra-dimensional ultimate battle, Hit versus Jiren. Hit is literally a dimensional tier below Jiren in terms of power. Jiren is never getting killed by Hit. Oh, by the way, when I say Sukuna beats Madara, I am only referring to Edo Madara. I am only referring to this specific version of Madara. I know for a fact that Jubi Madara is way too strong for Sukuna. And he has fucking Hashirama's cells and fucking all that other bullshit. That makes it pretty impossible to art. Like, maybe Ten Tails Madara. Maybe base Ten Tails Madara. But, like, Ten Tails Madara with both the Renegon, Ten Tails Madara with the fucking the three eyes, Infinite Tsukiyomi, like, nah. Sukuna really ain't beaten fucking Three-Eye Madara, in my opinion. That's some BS. What do you mean by that? What you talk about? What you talking about? Yuha was going to destroy and recreate the Soul Society, the living world, and the other realms as well. That's something I never see people bring up. I just blocked you? Why? I mean, okay, and? I mean, I feel a little bad, but, like, I'm not going to change my opinions for that. The fuck was that? Okay, it's just other people. Nothing I have to worry about, but yeah. Do I think there will be another Tournament of Power? No. Why would they repeat the same story arc they already covered? That'd be like, do you think there's going to be another Goku Black arc? Like, no, obviously not.
million degrees would not be sufficient in destroying stars, given that they can exceed 100 million.
Oh my god, no, it's not just the fucking fire! Yamamoto's spiritual pressure manifests itself as flames and travels across different realms. Fucking hell.
Million degrees. Still, Yamamoto isn't the pinnacle of the verse, as the likes of Yuha, the Soul King, Squad Zero, Blood War Aizen, and Ichigo, among others, should all be stronger than this. The problem is that aside from using higher feats, it's impossible to quantify how much stronger they actually are. Now, notoriously, Yuha was going to destroy the human world like a...
The fuck you mean notoriously? It only is notorious if you're a Bleach down player, which, by the way, fucking thank you, Death Battle. Fuck off.
Mundo and the Soul Society with his power after absorbing the Soul King. Again, depending on the size of these dimensions, this ranges anywhere from multiplanetary to universal 3 times over, giving him the extreme benefit of the doubt that he's referencing to the universes that contain each of these spaces. But there is a major issue, and it's that it's very unlikely Yuha is doing this through his own direct AP. You see, the main job of the Soul King is to keep a balance of souls between the human world and Soul Society. We are told repeatedly that undoing this balance will destroy both universes entirely. We know this balance can be disrupted pretty easily, as just Quincy's existing and eradicating souls instead of letting them pass on was nearly enough to cause this to happen. So when Yuha absorbs the power of the guy who's keeping that balance, it seems pretty clear that he wants...
Absorbs the power of the guy that's keeping that balance. The power, fucking... Was Jiren supposed stronger than Merge Zamasu while suppressed during episode 110? Or on Reddit. Fucking Reddit. Dog, I will block you again. What are you talking about? Thoughts on the DC versus Sonic crossover, or DC and Sonic crossover? I have no opinion on that. What if power scaling was never created? I don't know. I'd probably be slaving away at McDonald's or something. Spring Guy stated he never felt an energy as great as Jiren's. He's referring to Jiren's overall power, not the power he's outputting to push away the Spirit Bomb. But, you know, Jiren should be stronger than Merge Zamasu, Fusion Zamasu. Whether or not he was stronger in that moment is up for debate. Dragon Ball Heroes, Super Dragon Ball Heroes does seem to think so, though. So, okay, now we gotta play a little dirty with Mr. Zed because apparently he doesn't like buff women. And we'll get back to the reaction because I know I've already spent like an hour, how long? Nearly 2 hours on the fucking Bleach video. Most of that was trying to defend myself against fucking Dragon Ball Daima stands, but whatever.
Wasn't just going to one-shot any of these realms with a
like, duh, please use your brain. And this gets even worse if you think, whatever, we'll talk about it.
blast of energy or something, and instead just let them collapse in on each other. So being unable...
That's what Buhan was going to do, and I know for a fact you accept the Buhan feat, so why isn't this valid either? What the fuck?
able to use that feat. For a high end, there are statements in the anime for Squad Zero.
Wait, I actually can't remember if he does accept the Buhan feat. He might not. He might be one of those old 2013 debaters that still doesn't accept the Buhan feat. You know that meme where it's like the Japanese soldier that kept fighting until like the 80s? That's literally long.
Being able to shake heaven and earth of the three universes with their power. This would grant them multi-solar system levels of power, as shaking something requires far less...
Unless it's infinite in size. Which, by the way, they are. Guidebooks directly confirm this. So. Not multi-solar. Low multi. But whatever. That's nerd shit. He doesn't. He doesn't! He doesn't! Ah! Does Goku solo Super Smash Brothers? No. I don't 100% agree with the scaling that Goji presented in that video, but yeah, Goku is not beating everyone in Super Smash Brothers. Can you prove Kid Buu is beyond infinite power? Oh. I blocked you because I hate Ichigo. Why? Ichigo's the most normal person, literally ever. Ichigo did literally nothing to you. Let me make a based hot take on Twitter right now. So just give me a reason. You know, I think I'm coming around to Madara. Madara looks really cool. I love how his hair kind of droops over his eyes. It's really cool. Press his neutral B.
less energy than destroying it. To be absolutely fair, though, what we see from the feat is just the planet Earth and the Soul Society city being shaken rather than the entire universe, or Hueco.
That's the living world!
And the Soul Society city being shaken rather than the entire universe.
In the anime clip he shows the living world being shaken too! Which are separated by a beyond infinite distance. Dog.
or Hueco Mundo at all. So for AP, Bleach sits between multi-continental to planetary with high
Me when I lie.
end interpretations of
Not even high end. Normal interpretations. Normal, not stuck in 2011 interpretations.
the solar system to an extreme high end of
I gotta stop being so mean on these streams because I don't dislike this guy at all. So my venom is completely based on the power scaling, and that's kind of mean. Like, it's just power scaling. It's fictional characters. It doesn't matter that much. So, whatever.
Universal. Speed, though, is weird. There are a bunch of attacks in Bleach referred to as spiritual light, but proving this works as the same as real life or moves at the same speed is essentially impossible.
This is like the debate goons that say stuff like, appeal to reality. And it's like, duh. Fucking duh. Obviously, I'm appealing to the fact that light moves at the speed of light. That's what you used for Tien. Prove that the universe in Dragon Ball is the same size as the universe in our life. Fucking damn. Yeah, okay, I'm back.
It's even established they can move at different speeds, so it becomes entirely arbitrary to assign one of these attacks as being the first one that's actually light speed. Furthermore, Bleach doesn't actually have any solid multipliers to scale speed that way. Bankai are not like Super Saiyan forms that multiply all stats in the same way every time.
Liar. Ichigo's is, anyway. Ichigo is like a 5 to 10 times boost, based on what's said in the manga. Super Saiyan 2 Tien Goku versus Metacooler. Who would win? Gohan, in my opinion. Power and speed-wise, anyway. If you want to talk about hacks, maybe Metacooler could, but honestly, I'd still go with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
It simply increases the vague term of combat ability by 5 to 10 times. We see this fully when Ichigo's Bankai really only increases his speed. Still, there are calculating characters to a couple dozen times faster than Light, with anyone stronger being just unquantifiably above that. With that being said, will this be enough to defeat Tien? Let's get into it.
No, because you downplayed them as, fucking crazy. Damn.
So already...
fucking low multiversal Tien versus planetary Bleach. Who do you guys think are... What do you guys think?
Even just Cell and Saga Tien would already be drastically above most scales for the Bleachverse. Even if attack potency is similar, Tien is embarrassingly faster than everyone in the verse. If we take high-end interpretations of Bleach, the main problem is that most characters don't scale to that level of power, and granting Tien the same benefit of doubt means once again drastically outscaling anything Bleach has ever done. Again, second form Frieza universal statement. Understand
Let's run that back.
Anything Bleach has ever done. Again, second form Frieza universal statement. That level of power, and granting Tien the same benefit of doubt means once again drastically outscaling anything Bleach has ever done. Again, second form Frieza universal statement.
Fucking whatever, dog. Someone hate Ichigo with me. What's the possible highest interpretation for scaling Bleach? You can honestly argue outer versal Bleach, dog. But, more consistently, probably, they should be like 4D, maybe 5D, 6D if you really want to push it.
Understanding that Tien is somewhat stronger and faster means that Bleach is in a really tough spot even with the versus hacks. Everyone there is pretty much instantly getting blasted with an attack before they can react that splits them apart by their very atoms, spiritual or otherwise. While Yuha's ability to choose between futures or Aizen's hypnosis are both very powerful abilities, both of them require conscious use and perception to activate. We see very clearly that Yuha is not always looking into the future at all times and clearly does not see every possibility play out. So to say he can choose timelines where he somehow survives getting killed by Tien requires him to actually be able to react to Tien, which he pretty much can't do. Now, there are some characters in Bleach who arguably have degrees of immortality, like Gerard or Hogyoku Aizen, ignoring the fact that they've never survived or adapted to attack.
Liar. Me when I lie.
Practically infinitely stronger than they are. Worst comes to worst, Tien has the Mafuba.
Here's the thing, the Mafuba is fucking dog shit compared to the seals that they have in Bleach. Ichibe's seal seals you away on a conceptual level. He controls the concept of black. And then with that, can you scale Pui Pui? Yeah. Pui Pui he gets pretty he easily gets no diffed by base Vegeta, but something interesting here. Shin actually thinks that they would everyone would need to gang up on Pui Pui in order to defeat him. And that was after Shin saw Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's power. So you could probably honestly argue that Pui Pui is like solar system level or multi-solar. Wherever you have like mastered Super Saiyan Goku during the Cell games, Pui Pui would probably be stronger than that.
And given that they are drastically weaker than him, he would have no issue putting them inside of a rice cooker. Also, for the sake of argument and assuming that a character can land a hit on Tien because for some reason he lets them, there's a solid chance that it doesn't even work on him at all because he's too powerful. It's clearly established that having a high enough spiritual pressure outright cancels out the powers and abilities of your opponent, and the same thing essentially happens in Dragon Ball as well. It's likely that if anyone swung on Tien, their sword would have just be stopped by his barrier of ki and not even reach his body, as we've established that both his physical and spiritual power are linked. So yeah, call me biased to Dragon Ball if you want, but Tien slams.
I can't even call you biased to Dragon Ball. You didn't scale Dragon Ball right either. Whatever. It's not that bad. It's not that important. Power scaling and all that. I do think Tien probably not slams. I do think he clears Bleach in terms of physical stats. But, when it comes to the hacks abilities of characters like Yuha or Aizen, obviously, I don't think Tien really has an answer for that, but that's just my opinion. Oh, hello there, Zeta. Unmute Form. Who is Form? Unmute Form from your server. He got perm-abused for a 6-day mute and saying, I don't know about that. I don't know. Yuhabak will be gone if not. Yuhabak. Hold on, is Yuhabak? Hold on, who is Yuhabak? Because I'm pretty sure that's Yuha. But, some people say his name weirdly. Yuhabak. Yuhabawa. Yubawa. Eggs. Bacon, egg, and cheese. Cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese. But yeah, Yuha. The omnipotent Quincy. Yuha, baby. Yuha. Oh, he's so cool. Okay. Yuha. Does he have a gallery? Okay, there we go. Yuha. Yeah, I think he's only in 1,000 Year Blood Work because there's some weird fucking Yuha. So just give me a reason. Okay, yeah, but anyway, yeah, moving on. Dog, I'm not the fucking Yuha. Bleach is the worst of the big three. Liar. Next video? Oh yeah, we do have to move on. Who the fuck is Form? Oh, this guy? Fucking, I don't know. I'll deal with you later. I have a headache. Let's see. Who was the guy that sent me the video? It was, was it this guy? No, it wasn't this guy. Fuck, who was it? Dog, where the fuck did he go? Fuck it. Okay, whatever. Yuha. Can you give me massively faster than light feats? I'll give you infinite speed feats, dog. And even if you don't want to accept that, then they're massively faster than light by default. Wrong one. It's this one. It's like Gojo versus JoJo's. The problem is that the video is so fucking long. 42 minutes. Can't watch that. Where's the shortest one by this guy? It's fucking no operator. Fucking, yeah, this one's 27 minutes.
All right.
Of course, the fucking Wheel of Death. Hello there, Goku. Welcome back. Bitch. So just give me a reason.
Right, let's roll it one more time. Let's see what's going on next. That might have been the first loss that he got so far, which again, I'm surprised he made it this far in general.
He lost again. That's crazy.
Oh, Chariot Requiem.
Oh. Dog, and he spends so much time talking about all of them? I might need to... Fuck this shit. Okay, no. This is a, Why is Gojo's hair so tall? I don't know, man. So we're gonna save this for another day. We'll make a whole stream or a whole video or something covering that specifically. Just because. Oh, Long's video on Goku versus Pokemon. Okay, we're going back to Long's takes, everyone.
Besides Goku vs. Superman, probably the most popular casual...
Why does he look like that? He looks like he wants to hurt me. Which honestly, nah, I won't finish that joke.
Power scaling debate of all time is every Pokemon versus 1 billion lions.
So Goku is the equivalent of 1 billion lions? Pretty based.
Premise is simple. Have one of each of the currently 1,025 different unique Pokemon go up against a massive army of real-world animals. And not to burst the bubble of any lion defender, but the Pokemon win that fight pretty easily. Having large numbers doesn't really matter when the difference in strength is quite literally more than 1 billion times. But I'm getting ahead of myself. To give every Pokemon a challenge, they would need something far more substantial than a bunch of cats. So what if we replaced 1 billion lions with 1 Saiyan? Goku. Pokemon and Dragon Ball are the two...
Man, this is something I find funny about Long. No disrespect to him, of course. Like, I need to make that very clear. I know I make jokes. I know I act like an asshole here. But, you know, like, Ultron versus Cell is totally unfair. Who was asking this? Like, I think we all know it's unfair. Like, especially if you want to use comic Ultron. Then yeah, like, duh. Cell ain't beating him. So, like, why would you ask that? It's just weird to me.
Most popular Japanese franchise.
Like, if you already know the answer, why ask the question? You know, that's kind of my interpretation.
Is outside of Japan, but when it comes to power, which one actually comes out on top?
Goku. Goku. Every way to Sunday. Goku, Goku, Goku.
Today, we're gonna find out. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's jump right in. Now, when it comes to scaling a franchise as absolutely massive as Pokemon, the issue of canonicity and continuity is the first thing that needs to be addressed.
Give them everything. Give them literally everything. Every single, all the manga, all the video games, everything, and I do mean literally everything. Goku's still beating them. They still not beating Goku. They still not beating Goku. Nobody's beating Goku. Nobody can beat Goku, and Goku beat nobody too.
There are the mainline games, remakes of the mainline games, spin-offs of the mainline games, multiple different anime, movies, manga, the card game, and plenty of other products that all officially have the Pokemon name. However, to say that all of these are directly connected obviously opens up a whole can of worms of contradictions and probably would require a separate video to fully comprehend. So,
which he's never gonna make, by the way. Every time he says something like that, it's like, okay. Is it ever gonna happen? Nope. You know, I'm guilty of this too. So, you know, laugh at me. You know, point and laugh at me. Everyone, do it now.
For this video in particular, I will be sticking with information, feats, and statements that are within the general main series of games, from Pokemon Red and Blue all the way to Legends Arceus and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Though, to be fair, ultimately, unless you bring in crossovers like Super Smash Bros., the scaling of Pokemon with and without the extended material doesn't actually change all that much in the grand scheme of things. Now, just like the original Lions vs. Pokemon topic, there will be exactly 1,025 Pokemon. So there will be one Bulbasaur, one Ivysaur, and one Venusaur, going all the way to the most recent Pokemon introduced, which is Pecharunt. Which, yeah, that's a Pokemon that exists. You've probably never seen this guy before and never will again after this video. When it comes to having this whole army of Pokemon go up against Goku, it is completely redundant to literally explain why Goku beats each individual Pokemon. No one is dying for me to break down why Goku versus Spoink isn't close. So instead, we'll be dividing the Pokemon into tiers of power and generally going over where they scale within the franchise, going from the weakest Pokemon all the way to the strongest ones. Now, some might argue that actually all Pokemon are relative in power via game mechanics, so technically even a level 1 Bidoof or a Tata can defeat any legendary Pokemon.
That's funny. That'd be really funny. Yes, laugh at me, everyone. Ah, fuck! That's right. Okay. Fuck, okay. That one guy, I need to track him down. But next time I see him, I'm gonna invite him to the server. And then I need to give him $5. I need to give him $5, because I never did make that, I never did upload that video. Fuck, damn it. Okay, we'll figure that out later.
Which in some circumstances is technically true, and weirdly enough, that is kind of supported by lore. You see, in the games themselves, it's pretty lore consistent that a good trainer can essentially amp their Pokemon to be as strong as they need to win a battle via the power of friendship, trust.
This quote is used by very corny Pokemon fans, but it is narratively supported. Cry, I don't know.
Or just pure skill. This essentially explains why a common rat Pokemon can technically defeat God with the right trainer. But this doesn't apply in this scenario because all of these Pokemon are wild and don't have a trainer giving them a boost. So no rodent is defeating Mewtwo today. With all that out of the way, let's finally begin to talk about the first tier, which are obviously low tier Pokemon. This tier is made up of a large amount of Pokemon, generally anywhere from an in-game stat total of less than 200 all the way to a bit over 300. Almost every single Pokemon here is designed to...
I think we can all agree that Goku beats like fucking Bidoof, right? You know, probably the interesting stuff is when like we get to like the legendary Pokemon and all that. Like see, like star level, you know, like right here.
Completely or even casually move or shatter mountains apart, which actually isn't more impressive than the magnitude 10 earthquakes that we talked about before, coming out to city or mountain level, unsurprisingly. From pure stat multipliers, they are obviously several times stronger than Pokemon in the previous tiers, but it's not enough of a multiplicative distance to consistently put them at a higher tier of power, meaning they still lose to Kid Goku. Now, it's here you can make some crack arguments that involve moves like Seismic Toss, Moonlight, or even Sunny Day, which may potentially involve either moving the Earth or other celestial bodies around, which could make them anywhere from planetary to star level, but based on what is considered impressive from Pokemon in the next tier, I really doubt that that is what's happening. Though, at best, it still means they lose to Namek Goku, who can one-shot guys who can do this. High tier Pokemon. It's here we reach...
Okay, maybe Goku will have to break a sweat. Oh yeah, you do owe $20 for that one thing, and fucking... Oh, what did I say? I think I said like $300 for a face reveal? I can't remember. Or was it $500? I don't know. An amount of money for a face reveal. Oh, fuck. When did I... Oh, is the fight... That's... Ah, they're still up there. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, we're keeping those up there. In fact, we're gonna move the more brutal one above that one. Or fucking... How does this work? There we are. Yeah, okay, so... There. You know what? This might be a staple. This is a staple now. This is always going to be in all the streams, always. Because I said so.
To legendary Pokemon and those that are comparable to them. And it's here where canonicity really starts impacting scaling. In the Pokemon manga in particular, many legendaries scale directly to each other due to...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Multi-solar.
of fighting, and simply have better feats or more in-depth statements about their powers that simply aren't in the games. In the games, the gaps in power between legendaries is pretty massive, with most being featless and just vaguely stronger than non-legendaries. So let's talk about the ones that do actually have scaling. First, of course, you have Groudon and Kyogre and all the Pokemon in Gen 3 that scale to them. In their primal forms or not, Kyogre and Groudon respectively make the continents and are capable of completely flooding said continents, making them, along with Deoxys and Rayquaza, at least multi-continental in power. This is why I don't think the previous potential planetary or beyond scaling for non-legendaries is very consistent. If more powerful
Yeah, baby, let's go! Goku on top! No one's beating Goku! Debunk middle tracks Teen Goku scaling. That video is like 5 minutes long, if I remember correctly, right?
Pokemon are kinda super consistently portrayed on that level. Beyond multi-continental, though, you have the likes of the Generation 5 legendaries like Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem, who are implied to be planet busters in some dialogues. And unfortunately, besides that, most other legendaries only get scaling in non-game media, or are just implied to scale to these other legendaries that do...
Let's go, baby! Goku on top! Goku wins!
Do have scaling. So, is this completely one-sided? Do no Pokemon stand a chance against Goku? Well, not so fast. There's one generation I haven't covered much of yet. The God tiers. It's really impossible to understate how absolutely insane the jump in power is in Generation 4 of...
Generation 4 got nothing on Goku. Get them above 40. You can't. Goku slams. Oh, fuck. That's the wrong one.
Pokemon. Of course, I'm talking about the God Pokemon found in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and the rest of stuff in Generation 4. Palkia, Giratina, Dialga, and of course, Arceus.
They got nothing on Goku. Goku beats all of them.
Being the gods of space, time, antimatter, and...
That doesn't mean anything. That means nothing. Just because you're the god of something doesn't mean you scale to it. Fucking... Unless we want to say that fucking, like, Sukuna is the god of fucking... I don't know. I don't think Sukuna has any of those kind of statements, actually, now that I think about it. But, oh, well. They're not beating Goku.
Well, everything, respectively. These are the Pokemon responsible for the creation of the entire Pokemon multiverse. Individually, Palkia and Dialga...
That doesn't mean anything. Goku scales billions of times in the multiversal, even at a low ball. If you actually scale Dragon Ball, properly, and you think about it, with your brain. Even Battle of Gods Goku in base form after the arc.
Can you do the chicken? That will help you warm it up. And then can you get all the dishes out, please? Thank you.
All the Jiren dishes?
It would be helpful for me.
Okay, fine.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, Goku in base form absolutely destroys all the Pokemon. If you scale it right, properly, correctly, I swear if he brings up low multi Goku, I'm gonna blow a fuse.
Dialga are stated to completely control all of space and time.
Even Goku has those kind of statements, by the way. Not controlling them, but transcending the concepts. So,
While Giratina exists within and potentially is the distortion world, a realm beyond the concepts of space, time, and time.
You know what's crazy? The World of Void has those same statements. The World of Void has those same statements. Even the Room of Spirit and Time, the subspace that contains the Room of Spirit and Time, that even Buu Saga characters were able to break through. Same statements.
Entirely. At the bare minimum, these legendaries are Universe Plus or even low multi in power,
Which means they're not beating Goku.
the Pokemon universe has been stated to be infinite multiple times. Furthermore, the Pokemon universe does have a multiversal cosmology. Games like Sun and Moon, X and Y, and Legends Arceus reveal that there are countless and innumerable alternate worlds and dimensions that should all fall under the control of Palkia and Dialga as well. I say potentially because you can interpret that each of these universes also has their own Palkia and Dialga, meaning they only created one universe at a time, rather than a potentially infinite amount. This fact, however, cannot apply to Arceus, who can not only create universes by himself, but can literally make copies of the 3 lesser Pokemon on a whim. Furthermore, unlike the other legendaries, it's strongly implied that there is only one Arceus, and that when you battle or catch him in a game, you're simply holding a fraction or an avatar of the real thing. This means Arceus has created effectively an infinite multiverse through his avatars, or at worst has created...
Okay, well, an infinite multiverse might be a little hard for Goku to... If you downplay Goku, if you don't buy into the 5D stuff, if you think Goku's only like 4D... which is downplay in my opinion, but, it is a little hard to make an argument for, it is a little hard to make arguments for Goku if you think that Goku is only, multiversal. So, fair enough. To each their own, but...
each individual Pokemon game, each of which is a separate universe in a multiverse. At the bare minimum, this makes the God of Pokemon low complex multiversal.
Whoa, hey now.
In a multiverse. Each individual Pokemon game, each of which is a separate universe in a multiverse. Each is created holding a fraction or an avatar of the real thing. This means that Arceus has created effectively an infinite multiverse through
which is 40. Okay, so far so good.
His avatars, or at worst has created each individual Pokemon game, each of which is a separate universe.
Yeah, that's not low complex multi. That's multiversal plus. I don't know what this man's on about.
In a multiverse. At the bare minimum, this makes the God of Pokemon low complex multiversal, as he was stated to be beyond.
Oh, fuck, okay. Well, even Beerus has these statements. If you're going to take statements like this for Arceus, but not for Beerus, what the fuck? I mean, whatever, I suppose, but, take it however you will, I guess.
All of this. Using the statements about the distortion world, you could potentially get him to Outerversal if you so choose. So, how do these guys stack up to Goku? Well,
They don't stack up to Goku. Nobody's beaten Goku.
if you take the first interpretation, that there's only one Palkia and Dialga maintaining all of space-time, then Goku is losing to all of them. His best feats get him to low multiverse level or infinitely less.
Lie. Me when I lie. Me when I lie through my teeth. Here's the thing, right? So Goku is 4D by the end of Dragon Ball Z. This is objective. He literally has to be fourth dimensional, or Kid Buu would literally one-shot him. This is because Kid Buu scales above Buhan, who is 4D based on feats. I know I say Kid Buu holds back, but here's the thing with that, right? Even if there's literally a beyond infinite gap between Kid Buu, who is 40, and a 3D Super Saiyan 3 Goku. So Kid Buu is 40. Goku would also have to be fourth dimensional, which is actually backed up in the anime, but I might cover that in a video. And then Goku fights Kid Buu. He needs to be at least Universal Plus for this to work, right? Now, Goku, in Battle of Gods, he says that not even fusing with Vegeta would be enough to defeat Beerus. And when he does become a Super Saiyan God. He says it exceeds anything he could possibly imagine of. So, the multiplier for fusion is A times B. Super makes this a little complicated, but even if you want to take that into account, it doesn't really change anything. It's still reliant on Goku's power level and Vegeta's power level. That's not Vegeta, that's Beerus, but you know what I'm talking about. So Vegeta and Goku, by this point, their base forms are at least in the hundreds of millions in terms of power level, at least. If not, well above, potentially in the billions, you could even argue trillions. So a power level in the hundreds of millions, lowball, multiplied by a power level in the hundreds of millions. That number would be incomprehensible for us to regurgitate right now. We'll assume that base Goku scales below Namek Saga Frieza, just to be like a little conservative with our scaling. Squared. Let's see if we can get like a good answer for this. That's the number that we get if you square Namek Saga Frieza's full power and assume that base Goku scales a little below that. You know, downplaying. This is the number. And I don't even know what this number is. Written out. I was never a math guy. That should... Oh, fucking AI. I don't trust that. Okay, hold on. Yeah. By 16, right? Or what was it? Hold on. Yeah, okay, there it is. Convert. Now in numbers would be that 100,000 million billion trillion 14 quadrillion. So yeah. Battle of Gods Goku would easily be in multiversal tier, objectively.
Than what they're creating. If you think there are an infinite amount of Dialgas and Palkias, then he should be everyone but Arceus, who would still be infinitely stronger than him. So, can Goku beat all 1025 Pokemon?
Actually, overall, this was actually a pretty good video. Like, I know I made my little remarks and quips, but that was a well put together video. But anyway. Vegeta can beat Goku, can he? I don't know. You could argue either or could beat each other, honestly. Is this based in terms of physical stats? We got Chi-Chi over Madara, right? I think that's pretty fair. I think we can all agree on that. Unfortunately, you know, I won't be able to get through all the suggestions today. Who the fuck is Zone? Oh, okay. Yeah, again, like I said, you need to put them in reaction submissions. And we kind of work our way from there. But this is from Sage. And I'm ready to make a new enemy today. Long stakes overall, very good video.
Some heroes are defined by their strength, others by their heart.
No one cares.
But these two, they're defined by how many times they get knocked down and how they always get back up.
Liar. Is Luffy known for that? I don't know, dog. Madara over Chi-Chi. What are you talking about, dog? Chi-Chi beats the shit out of Madara. Stats to stats, anyway. Hold on, there's a Debunking Sage's Goku versus Pokemon video. We're actually watching a Sage video right now. That's crazy. Oh, I need to get the... Damn it. Fuck. Nah, he's in fucking Mexico. Damn it. Okay. No, we're not going to be able to get the Invincible Scaler on this. I wish I could. I wish we could, but no, that's not going to happen.
Monkey D. Luffy, the rubber-bodied pirate captain with a smile wider than the Grand Line, has
no one cares.
Been crushed, poisoned, impaled, and left for dead. But somehow he always manages to clutch a win in the end. Mark Grayson, better known as Invincible, has been torn apart by aliens, monsters, and his own father. But when the world's on the line, he never stays down. They've both been broken, bloodied, and beaten within an inch of their lives. But giving up? Not in their vocabulary. So when these two never-say-die fighters finally clash, who keeps standing when the dust settles? Well, by going over both Luffy and Mark's individual...
Okay, so from what I could tell, he is using the comics for Invincible, and I'm a little more well-versed in Invincible scaling than I was before. So, Chaozu solos One Piece, 100%. Is it gay to glaze Goku? I mean, is it gay... Fellas? Is it gay to talk about fellas? I mean, you're literally talking about fellas.
Stats such as strength, speed, durability, and overall hacks. I'll not only explain to you who wins, but why. To kick things off, the first character I want to go over is Luffy, starting off with this...
Because he's a Luffy glazer, but whatever. I can already tell. I can sense it. Everything.
You have no dishes in here?
No.
Don't take his gun.
I didn't. Yeah. Come back for them.
Could you bring those two and we'll start? Can you say it again? And I'm back. Fat Booza gagged thus outer. 100%. Absolutely. Based. So based.
strength. The reason I want to go over Luffy's strength scaling first is so that I can completely dispel the notion that One Piece characters are even remotely planetary by...
He doesn't even think they're planetary. Even I'm not like that. Damn. Fuck, okay.
debunking two main metas. With the first one I want to cover being the Whitebeard scale. As most of you may already know, Whitebeard through the use of the Quake fruit is
Power
explicitly...
to destroy the world, yeah, okay. I guess you can argue that people don't scale to their devil fruits, which is consistent. I suppose. That's the problem about non-power scalers. They're so obsessed on shitting on power scaling, yet they still try to power scale nonetheless. Absolutely double standards. No, I think Sage is a power scaler. Yeah, he makes videos. So yeah, pretty consistently too. Like, damn. Okay, fair enough. Like, actually, you know what? He's a small creator. I have a moral obligation to support this man. Hell fucking yeah. I remember this video actually when it came out. I think the pose that he chose for Yamcha was a little odd. I know what he's referencing though, so.
Stated to have the power to destroy the world. However, a lot of fans take this statement out of context heavily, while acting as if Whitebeard at any time he wanted could have just waved his arm like King Vegeta and vaporized the planet. What they don't realize, though, is that due to the fact that Whitebeard's ability is earthquake-based, he quite literally cannot destroy a planet in its core.
Well, okay. You know, I'm not someone who, like, spams, like, fallacies or anything, right? But, like, appeal to reality much? Like, it's fair, but, like, you know, at the same time, it's kind of like, you know.
Core.
Oh, and he's using AI overview for that too. That's rough.
This likely means that at best Whitebeard can destroy the surface of a planet by sinking islands with tsunamis, which wouldn't get him or any other One Piece character anywhere near planetary, even if you think the One Piece planet is the size of a star. Mind you, the size of the One Piece planet is never stated anywhere in the manga, and is entirely based on fan calculations that vary widely, making them extremely inconsistent.
Damn, this guy's so based. Holy fuck, this guy is